Han's going to start standing here with her feet hip-width apart and parallel. Equal weight in both feet. And she's going to turn her palms forward to set her shoulders back and down, tuck her tail, draw her chin in like a drawer into its casing to send the crown of her head as high into the sky as she can, standing as tall as she is. And on her next inhale, she's going to circle her arms up, and then on the exhale with a flat back, she hinges at the hips and folds all the way down. Inhale brings her up with a flat back, supporting her weight against her shins. Exhale, tiger hands, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, shoulders back and down, head high. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, hips lift, tiger hands twisting against the mat, setting the shoulders as the chest pushes back towards the thighs. A breath here, reaching the hips to the sky. An inhale. And on the exhale, she's going to step her feet forward between her hands, one at a time. Inhale to look up with a flat back. Exhale to fold. Next inhale brings her standing all the way up, circling arms up. Exhaling, hands back to heart center, Samastiti. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, flat back, fold. Inhale, flat back, look up. Exhale, tiger hand, step back, chaturanga. Inhale, urdhva, shoulders back. Exhale, adha, hips up, chest back. Walk your dog a little bit. Bend one knee or then the other. Work out the posterior chain of your legs a little bit, but keep those hands twisting out, those shoulders away from the ears, and the chest pushing back to the thighs. And we're going to take a breath. Next, exhale, steps the feet forward one at a time. Inhale, look up with a flat back. Exhale, fold. And then inhale, flat back all the way up, hands up. Exhale, hands heart center, Samastiti. Inhale, circle hands up, bend knees to chair pose. Hips are back. Exhale, straightens legs and folds. Inhale, looks up with a flat back. Exhale, plants hands on the mat, steps back for chaturanga dandasana. Elbows in. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, shoulders back. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, hips up, chest back, hands twisting. Inhale, right leg straight and strong up behind you. Then exhale to bring that knee forward first, then the foot plants between the hands. Inhale, circle hands up, back foot plants at 45 degrees. And we have Virabhadrasana 1. Take a moment to settle into this first Virabhadrasana. Knee is as close to over the heel as you can get it. Keep drawing your right hip back and your left hip forward. Feel the stretch in your left hip flexor. Exhale, bring your hands down for a chaturanga. Elbows in, shoulders back and down. Inhale, urdhva, shoulders back, energy is up. Exhale, send yourself back to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, left leg up, straight and strong behind you. Exhale, left knee forward, then the foot plants between the hands. Inhale, circle arms up, Virabhadrasana 1. Keep squaring your hips to the front of the mat. Keep your left knee over your left heel. Shoulders are back and down, shoulders away from the ears. You breathe into where you feel it. On your exhale, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, urdhva mukha svanasana. Exhale, adho mukha svanasana. Chest back, hips up. Take a little wiggle, side to side. Bend one knee, then the other. Give your body whatever movement it's asking for. Press into your hands to push that chest back. Then one at a time, on an exhale, feet step up. Inhale to look up with a flat back. Exhale to fold. Inhale, flat back, bend your knees to circle your arms up, chair pose, then straighten your legs, Samasthiti. Inhale, circle your arms up, bend your knees, send your hips back, chair pose. Exhale, fold. Inhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Then Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, Adha Mukha Svanasana. Breathe. Inhale, right leg straight and strong behind you. Exhale, knee comes forward first. Then we're going to plant that knee behind the right wrist. Right foot is as close to the left wrist as you can get it. Doesn't have to get all the way. You don't need that shin parallel, but you do need that ankle flex to protect your knee joint. Back leg goes straight out behind you. You can flatten that foot if you like. Keep some weight in your hands so you can wiggle your hips around and find the right pigeon for you today. The stretch gets deeper as your hips come lower to the mat and as your shin comes more and more parallel to the front of the mat. Again, wherever you're feeling a stretch is good news. It just needs to be uncomfortable. It doesn't need to be painful. If you want, you can walk forward. You can move your chest forward. If you're feeling it, you can come all the way down on your elbows if you like. That might be a little too intense for some of us. Doesn't matter. Find the pigeon that's working for you and work that pigeon, but keep that right ankle flexed. And soften into the pose. Use your breath. Send the breath where you're feeling it. On your exhales, think soft. Think melt into the mat. Breathe. Are you in your breath? Soft. When it's time to move, we're going to come out super slow. If you're all the way down, come up on your elbows for a moment before you come to your hands. Take a minute, then tuck those back toes under and push your hips up to come back to a downward facing dog and have a little wiggle there. Then left leg up, straight and strong behind you. Left knee comes forward. Left knee plants on the mat behind the left wrist. Left foot is as close to the right wrist as we can get it. Doesn't have to be all the way there. As long as that ankle is flexed, you're good. We're protecting that knee joint with that flexed ankle. Back leg is straight out behind you. Wiggle around, find the right spot. If you want to come forward, come forward. If you want to stay up, stay up. You just need to find your point of discomfort and breathe into that discomfort. Think soft on the exhales. Breathe. Soft. Breathe. And when it's time to come out, we're going to come out super slow, especially with these deep stretches. When we want to come out, we come out slow. If you're all the way down in your chest, you're not going to come right up on your hands right away. You're going to come up to your elbows first. Let your tissues get used to that idea for a moment. Come up to your hands when it feels right to do that. Tiger hands on the mat, back toes tuck, and you push your hips up into your down dog. Chest as close to your thighs as you can get them. Pushing the mat away. Shoulders away from the ears. Walk your dog. Have a wiggle. Do what you need to do. And then we're going to come down to a tabletop. Knees come down to the mat. And we're going to move with our breath here. On the inhale, we're going to send the tail up to the sky. Belly's going to go down towards the mat. And then the gaze is going to go up. On the exhale, we're going to tuck the tail. The back is going to go up to the sky and the gaze is going to come down. Move on your breath. Inhale, start at the tail. Let the movement go up your spine like a wave. Exhale, start at the tail again. And just take a few on your own breath. And we're going to stop at the top, at the cat position. We're going to have a wiggle around there, looking for any tension in the muscles of the back, maybe between or under the shoulder blades. Give that a little bit of love, a little stretch. Move your spine around organically a little bit. Let those discs compress in every direction. Hands are still grounded and clawing. And then we're going to come to a seated position, however you want to get there. I'm sorry, a lying position. Lie down on your back. We're going to work into a 2-knee twist here, which means putting your knees together and drawing your knees in towards your chest. No, we're not just going to flop right into a 2-knee twist. We're going to draw our knees into our chest. And take a little moment. Shavasana is never a bad thing. Take a little rock, step back and forth from side to side, and maybe draw a few little circles in the air with your knees. Feel that massage your lower back against the mat. Go both ways. And once you've done that, you can float your knees down. Looks like we're going to the left side here. Now, most of us will keep our knees together. Han's splitting her legs here a little bit because she needs the extra space to find a stretch in this position. But most of us can find it fine with our knees together. Right arm goes straight out from the shoulder. You want that arm to track dead straight out. Palm down, and your gaze will follow that arm. If you want, you can add your hand onto your top knee for a little extra weight. You don't need to pull on it. Just the weight of your arm will help. But you should feel this in your right lower back. Send your inhales there, and on the exhales, think soft, melt into this position. Inhales, blow up that lower back like a balloon, and exhales, melt you in. When we move head first. Look up first, then bring your knees up. You can draw them in for another little wiggle here, or you can just let them float down to the other side, right side, both knees to the right side. Left arm tracks straight from the shoulder, palm down. Gaze follows that hand, the left hand. If you like, you can add the weight of your right arm and hand to your left knee. But again, you're breathing into the stretch. Exhales make you softer. Breathe. And breathe. When it's time to move, we move our head first, look up, then knees up. Give them another little hug, take another little rock. And then we're going to reach around to the back of our knees, behind the knees, for a little rock back and forth. We're going to inhale to rock back, then exhale to rock up. Inhale back, exhale up, inhale, roll back, exhale up. And then you can cross your legs and roll over your knees back to a tabletop for a moment. Another little wiggle there. And now we're going to take our right foot and we're going to step it up so it's outside our right hand. We want the knee as much as possible over the heel. We got to come up on our left toes to walk that knee back. We want that knee back far enough that we're not on the patella anymore, the kneecap anymore. We're not wobbly. We're solid on the lower head of the femur. Now, once we get all that sorted out, we make the stretch deeper by lowering hips to the mat, and we back out by lifting hips away from the mat. Han's choosing to bring our whole left knee up off the mat here, and that's okay. Again, do this with your breath. We are inhaling out of the stretch and then exhaling our hips down into that stretch, into that hips flexor, and we're thinking soft when we do it. Inhale, back out. Exhale, lower in. Work with your breath. Then we're going to move into the quad by bending that left knee, reaching back with the right hand, taking the ankle, not the top of the foot. Han's choosing to throw a little twist in here, turning your chest to the sky. You can do that. That's fine. You can keep your chest square to the ground. That's fine. Whatever feels better. But your exhales are going to bring your foot closer to your butt and maybe your chest down towards the mat as you work that quad open with your breath. Inhale, back out. Exhale into the stretch. And when it's time to come out, try and gently lower that back foot. It might want to just collapse into the mat on you. Push your way back to a tabletop position. Set your tiger hands and let's step that left foot up till it's just outside the left hand. Knee over the heel, up on those back toes, those right toes to walk that leg back, and so you're not on the kneecap anymore. Your back leg is solid on the head of the femur. And when you find that spot, you can start working your breath, exhaling your hips down towards the mat, inhaling your hips back up out of the stretch, just out of discomfort, exhaling down into discomfort. Work with your breath, and just at the point of discomfort, we don't need pain. Keep working with your breath. And feel free to wiggle around a little bit with the hips, changing the angles of the hips. The important thing is to feel the stretch and feel exactly where that stretch is. Feel how it migrates around the hip as you very subtly change the angle of the hips in this pose. Then we're going to get into our quad, bend that right knee, reach back with the left hand, take the ankle, not the foot. And maybe you want to throw a little twist in there, turn your heart towards the sky. Maybe you don't, up to you. This is a quad show right now, so we're going to exhale to lower into the stretch, draw that back foot in towards our butt. Maybe we even lower our chest to do it. Work with your breath, inhaling to back out, exhaling to deepen into the stretch. Just in and out of discomfort. In your breath. And then we're going to plant hands and we're going to step that front leg back, take another tabletop, take another wiggle to let go of that. Looks like we're going to take a moment in child's pose here, and that's just fine. Never a bad idea to take a moment in child's pose. When you're ready to come up, come up. And we're going to shift ourselves to take a Janu Shirshasana. Legs are going to come out in front. Then we're going to bend our left knee to bring the sole of the foot into the thigh. Flex that right ankle. Get those toes as close to your chest as you can. Equal weight into both sit bones. Sit up as tall as you are. Take an inhale to circle your arms up all the way to make you even taller. And on the exhale, melt your heart towards your toes. Don't think too much or worry too much about your head to your knee or your shin or whatever. Think heart to toes. That's where the action is in this stretch. We're going to melt into this one. We still use our breath. We still inhale into the place where we're feeling the stretch and exhale to think soft, to soften into the stretch, to melt into it, to accept it. Wherever our hands are is okay. They can be, Hana's right down on her leg here. Maybe that's not where you're at. Maybe you are sitting up with your hands on your thigh or the mat or your shin or whatever. That's just fine. As long as you're feeling a stretch in your hamstring along the back of your right leg, you're doing good work. You're in the right spot. Keep using the breath to melt into that hamstring and coax it open. Breathe. Breathe. When it's time to come out, use your hands. Put your hands down if they're not already, and slowly, slowly, slowly push your torso up and out of that deep stretch, and then switch legs. Left leg straight out in front of you, right knee bends, sole of the right foot to the inside of the left thigh. Flex the right ankle, get the toes in close towards your chest. Inhale to circle your arms up, make yourself as tall as you can be. Exhale, melt your heart towards your toes. Wherever your hands go is fine. If they go on the mat, that's fine. If they go on your shin, that's fine. If you can reach your foot, great stuff. Reach your foot. Find the stretch that's right for you and breathe into that stretch. Think soft. You are gently persuading your central nervous system that it's okay for the muscles involved to take this range. You gotta be gentle. Your CNS is sensitive. Breathe. Breathe. Think soft. When it's time to come out, use your hands. Put your hands down on the mat. Press into them. Gently, slowly, slowly, lovingly sit back up. Straighten both legs out in front of you. Maybe you want to bend one knee and then the other and kind of bump your hamstrings against the mat a little bit. I like to do that. Whatever, just sit up, sit straight and tall for a moment and let go of that Janu. Now we're going to move to a butterfly stretch, a Baddha Konasana. If you can put the soles of your feet together and your knees apart where you're sitting, then you can stay right there. Han's wearing nice white pants and she's in a park here. She's going to protect those by sitting crossways on her mat. She's going to bring her soles together, send her knees down. And it doesn't matter where your feet are. If your feet are like 3 feet in front of you, well, that's okay. That's your work. Han can bring her feet quite close in towards her groin here, which is one of the 2 ways to intensify this stretch. The other, of course, is to bring your knees towards the ground. Now, we're going to work this stretch with a little bit of contract release to start. We're going to bring our knees up and put our elbows inside our knees so we can squeeze our knees together against the pressure of our elbows. Our knees won't come together because our elbows are holding them, but we're activating all those muscles. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. On the exhale, let go of the squeeze and let your knees melt down towards the mat. Do it again. Inhale and squeeze against your elbows, and then exhale and melt your knees down. And then again, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Exhale to melt. Good stuff. Now we're going to use a little bit of reciprocal inhibition in the same stretch. We're going to help our knees up. We're going to hug them, and we're going to squeeze our knees out against our arms, trying to lower our knees to the mat, but our arms are blocking them. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And then let go of it and float the knees down to the mat. Bring the knees back up, hold them with your arms, squeeze out against your arms, squeeze, 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 let go, melt them down. Now, if your knees are close to the mat here and your feet are quite close in and you feel like it, you can lean forward a little bit with your torso. Feel how that changes the stretch, deepens the stretch generally. It's by no means obligatory. If you feel a stretch where you are, then you're in a good place. You're doing good work. But if you want to bring your chest forward a little bit, you can try that out. Use your hands to support you. Han here can go all the way down on her elbows, of course. But hands are good support as you experiment with this deeper range. Come out with your hands if you're forward. Push yourself back up if you're forward. Maybe you want to give your knees a little bump up and down here, flapping the butterfly's wings a little bit. Maybe you just want to get into the next position. Well, for the next position, bad news, we got to stand up because we're going to take a wide-legged series here. We're going to face the long edge of our mat, stand up straight and tall, and then we're slowly going to start to separate our feet. Yeah, I recommend toes at the edge of the mat because we're going to be sitting back onto the mat eventually. Start to separate your feet. Han's choosing to go down right away here with her feet barely separated. That's great. That's a good strategy. You can separate your feet a little bit more than shoulder width and then bend down. See how that works for you. Get your hands planted on the mat and then slowly keep working those feet open. When you feel like you've hit an edge, that's great. You stay there. You stay at that edge. Work that edge. Breathe into that stretch. Your hips will come down closer and closer to the mat over time if you're gentle and you coax those hips open. Now, if you can get your feet as wide as the mat is long, then you can work your hips a little bit, lower one hip bone towards the mat a little bit more, and then the other, feel that migrate the stretch across the front of your hips. You can lean forward. You can walk your hands forward a little bit and move your hips forward a little bit if you want. Just play with your hips here and find how moving your hips around changes the stretch. Be gentle. Don't expect to go as low as this, but work the stretch, work out your hips in this abducted condition. Maybe you can take a full splits and go all the way forward like Han here eventually. But we take what we get. Wherever we got to stretch, we got our work. Now, when we're ready, we're going to sit back into this one. Maybe you want to put a hand back to help yourself sit back down. Hand so low she doesn't have to do that. She can just lower. But we're taking the seated wide-legged forward fold here. Sit up straight, equal weight in both sit bones. Be as tall as you are. Get the crown of your head as high as you can. Then walk your hands over towards the right. If you can, get the right hand to the outside of that right leg. And again, we're reaching heart towards toes along that right leg. Use your breath. Inhale, back out. Exhale, deepen into it a little bit. Be gentle. Work the tissues. And persuade your CNS that those muscle bellies can take that length. Be gentle. Move in and out of discomfort with your breath. Breathe. And when you're ready, you can walk your torso back up, walk your hands back to the center, walk your hands over to the left. Maybe you can even get your left hand outside of your left leg. Wherever you are with your hands, reach heart towards toes, and even if there's no movement, even if there's just intention, then good work is happening. Breathe. Keep breathing. Be in it. Breathe. Come out slow. Hands down. Push your torso up. Come back to center. Maybe you want to come straight down in the middle with your hands. Reach your hands. Walk your hands forward as far as you can. Reach your heart forward. You don't have to go all the way down. Just, find that edge and work it with your breath. Think soft. Come out slow. Hands plant. Slow motion. Push that torso up. Sit as tall as you are. Equal weight in both sit bones. Maybe you want to wiggle your feet around a little bit. Maybe you want to slowly bend your knees in to take a cross-legged position. Any cross-legged position will do. You can do cross-legged Sukhasana. Han's doing Padmasana here because she can. We're going to work our necks a little bit. Sitting up as tall as we are with neutral shoulders, head high. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, Han's right ear is going to lower down towards her right shoulder. Shoulders stay level and even. Her ear just lowers towards her shoulder. Maybe she plays with her chin a little bit to find the perfect spot. Maybe she'll even lower her left hand to the mat, looking for that stretch in the neck and the top of the trapezius muscle. Maybe, if she's not satisfied there, she'll even turn her fingers so they're pointing straight back behind her. She's looking for the perfect spot for her on this perfect day. Might not be the same from day to day. When you find the perfect spot, just stay there, breathe into it. With this one, we're just barely into discomfort. And lots of gentle breath. Breathe. When it's time to come out, we move the hand first. We bring the hand back to the lap, then bring the head back up to neutral. Breath here. And then on an exhale, Han's going to lower her left ear towards her left shoulder. She's going to play with her chin a little bit to find the perfect spot in her neck. Maybe she lowers her right hand to the mat. Maybe she even turns the fingers back. She finds the perfect spot and she breathes into it. Breathe. Think soft. Shoulders are level and square. Feel those fibers. Send the breath where it needs to go. And when it's time to move, we move the hand first, bring it back to the lap, bring the head back up to neutral. Might as well do a couple shoulder rolls since we're here. Inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, pull them back and down. Inhale up. Exhale, back and down. Let it feel good. A little wiggle. And then we're going to take our Shavasana, because they say that's where the changes we make in the practice upload to the CNS. Feet are about mat width apart, legs straight, arms out, 45-ish degrees from the body with the palms up. Shoulders are back and down, pinned underneath you ideally. And here's where you get heavy. You just let your breath sink you, melt you, puddle you into your mat, and enjoy a well-earned rest. This is Desmond Quinn for Tiger Dance Yoga. This video was demoed by Han Pham. You can find her at Pham, Han, H-A-N-H, yoga on Instagram. And we'll see you next time.